Hello friends and family of the internet. My name is Samantha and I want to discuss with you a topic I think you'll find extremely interesting. So democracy is continually hailed as the ideal form of government. Even dictators like Vladimir Putin and others hold elections to pretend that they hold power by the will of their people. In the United States, the political left are so intent on avoiding the danger that Donald Trump poses to our democracy that they have tried to impeach and imprison him, whatever is required to prevent him returning to power by popular democratic vote. They believe that they spread democracy, the world will flourish. By an odd coincidence, a couple of opinion polls have found that the same percentage of Americans, 74%, believe in democracy that also believe in God. While the West still believes in democracy as an abstract principle, most are disappointed with it in practice. Only 10% of Americans say democracy is working very well or extremely well in the U.S. Nearly half say it's not working well. Just over half say that people like you are not represented by the government and that Congress is doing a bad job upholding democratic values. What is the real problem? Is democracy flawed, or does the problem lie within us? The founders of America did a remarkable thing. They pondered all of history's examples and sought to devise a government that would avoid the traps and troubles that had shipwrecked nations and empires. Most precisely, because of their education in the Bible, they recognized that the real enemy of good governance and national longevity is human nature. Thus, they sought above all to constrain this evil. They created a government with very limited powers, one that would afford the people an unmatched level of individual freedom and responsibility. They devised a system that harnessed the strength of a monarchy and the president, elements of oligarchy with state and national legislatures made up of representatives, and limited elements of democracy. America's founders were cautious in applying democratic elements. Only certain leaders were chosen by vote at certain intervals. The extreme tendencies of the masses were filtered through the Electoral College. The reason you're seeing the liberal left push so hard to end the Electoral College is because it controls the downward spiral of human nature. This form of government has safeguarded unparalleled freedom and has released an outpouring of productivity and creativity. The founding principle of freedom was applied to trade as well, and the free market has helped to lift more people out of poverty than any other single force in history. This democratic experiment has proved especially long-lived and successful. And yet, as inventive as the founders were in working to bridle human nature has proved itself far more inventive. The separation of powers, the checks and balances they established to limit the problems caused by a bad king, though they made America remarkably resilient despite some bad leaders, are increasingly being wielded as weapons for nakedly political purposes. In recent years, a shocking level of entrenched corruption within governing bodies has been and is being exposed, and the government is at absolute war within itself. Beyond that, ultimately, democracy is subject to the same peril that monarchy is. An incompetent ruler can make life unlivable. In a democracy, the ruler is the people. The more wicked the people become, the more rapidly governmental and societal collapse begins. Total instability, everything turns to dust. And the more democratic a government, the more volatile. The mob is altogether divot of knowledge. People can be very foolish. They can vote for politicians who promise benefits at the expense of the national good. Besides racking up massive debts, this can mean neglecting areas of spending that don't give immediate returns, such as defense, or better yet, taking care of our elderly. This weakness also saw democracy wiped out. Enjoying broad freedom also gives human nature more room to stretch. Far too often, people descend into excesses and evils. America's founders knew that preserving freedom depended on the religion and morality of the people. Today, Americans have largely dismantled these pillars of our society. We broadly celebrate perverseness and sins that were barely imaginable in previous generations. Democracy may in fact be, as Churchill said, the worst form of government except for all those other forms. This is supposedly the peak of human achievement in governance, and it is a wreck. Few look at the political muddle in Washington today and see a system worth emulating. Many nations are surrendering freedom in favor of a single strong man. For 6,000 years, man has been writing these lessons in government, mostly through suffering and oppression, and showing us what does not work. It's not a coincidence that among the most prominent examples of modern democracies are the U.S. and Britain. Biblical and secular history reveal them as the descendants of ancient Israel, the fulfillment of God's promise to Abraham to make of his descendants a great nation and a company of nations. Genesis 12:2, 35:11. Free government coupled with prosperity enable God's true church to work and thrive. God ultimately fulfills his plan through his church. To his church, God granted the Holy Spirit, the power that makes growth in real character possible. But it is up to you and I not to lose what the Lord has given us. America is a miracle. The way that our founding fathers set up our government is truly unique and worth fighting for. We do not need to abolish the Electoral College. We do not need to remove the powers of the three separate arms of legislation. If you haven't done so, please consider supporting our channel. We were demonetized by YouTube, and right now we are raising money to bury my father-in-law. So anything you could send our way would be greatly appreciated, folks. Like most of you, we too have our moments where we just don't have the money we need. And why is that? Why is that in a country that the Lord has given us to be prosperous? Are Americans struggling so bad? Could it be that we have a fourth arm of government, one that was never elected, one that can't be controlled, one that passes legislations, laws, and rules and then punishes us with no oversight? Maybe it's time to trust the president that we all, through the Electoral College and popular vote, put into office, and at least give him the chance to remove those things that don't match with our Constitution. America is not a democracy in full and true definition. She is a constitutional republic, and she is worth fighting for. Like, comment, and subscribe.